guys, welcome back to Everything Anime Podcast. I'm your host Shinry here at the Everything Anime Podcast. I'm in from anime, manga, video games, TV shows, and every little topic I talk about. Today's video is on Tokyo Ghoul. I think the chapters are... I did not write down the chapter titles. I don't know exactly what the chapter titles end, but I think it's like 92 or something like that. I'll have the titles at the top. It's been a minute since we talked about Tokyo Ghoul because, as you know, I reviewed all of Tokyo Ghoul Season 1 anime as well as getting to that part where it ended in the manga because I wanted to watch the manga up to, watch the anime up to a certain point of the manga, just like get like comparisons. And then I was like, the anime is flying through all of Season 1, and I went ahead and finished Season 1 because Season 1 was 12 episodes, and then by the time Season 1 ended, it has nothing like Season 2, or not Season 2, it's nothing like the anime, nothing like the manga at all, because in the manga, Kaneki never joined the Agori tree, the Agori tree got away. Like, that ending is way drastically different, and we missed out a lot more stuff, like Ayato and Takuya's backstory, about their father, you know, just a lot more lore that could have been built up. And especially because I used to think Tokyo Ghoul was like 200 chapters. Tokyo Ghoul is only 141 chapters. So we can be done with this manga, like, pretty quickly. But the reason why I'm recapping all this is because as much as I've read, there's not much to actually talk about. I know that's weird, so I'm making this video in a way to say, like, I don't know if I'm going to do what I did with My Hero Academia, where, like, I just stopped reading My Hero Academia and after, like, a certain point, and I just talked about the whole thing at the very end. Like, I talked about, like, major points, major things that I liked. And then with Boruto BV, if you didn't see the last thing I had posted on my channel, Boruto BV, them last 3 chapters were hot garbage. Again, people talking power fodder, and I say power fodder because, like, 1 minute Boruto starts whooping the main guy's ass, the main villain starts whooping that guy's ass. Then I forgot Boruto's adopted brother, whatever his name is, he starts showing up using his unlocked karma. He starts doing damage, embodying him, and it didn't even do anything. So what was the point of that fight? You kept introducing things, kept trying to show, like, oh, I got something stronger than this. And then, like, it all resolves with them just talking and everybody walking away again. That's terrible storytelling. So I'm not going to talk about Boruto BV at all unless something major happens or the manga ends very soon. And I feel like the manga of Boruto BV is going to end very soon. Boruto BV is not going to go past 100 chapters, I guarantee you. I guarantee you. Trust me, it's not. But same with Tokyo Ghoul. Like, I'm not sure what's really relevant to talk about. Like, there's a lot of characters that keep getting introduced, and then those characters disappear, they get killed. And I'm like, for 141 chapters, there are a lot of characters and names they're trying to introduce and make us remember. And then I'm like, having these characters, like, who are you? We barely know who you are. But you'll see what I mean as we go through this video. This video's intro already 3 minutes long, so let's not drag it out anymore. So, as I said, we're back, and we find out Amon has been promoted to rank 1 in the Paranormal Investigators. Now, how the ranking works in Paranormal Investigators, I'm not really sure. I know there's, like, Special Investigator and stuff like that. I'm not sure how the ranking works, but I guess rank 1 is, like, supposed to be pretty significant, or it should be pretty significant. But he's now a senior investigator, so that's pretty cool. It's been half a year since the battle with the Agori tree. Apparently, that battle happened 6 months ago, so... pretty cool. I mean, I'm not sure if Tokyo Ghoul took a break in between this time. I feel like the way that he ended that manga chapter, it implies that maybe the author went on a break writing Tokyo Ghoul, but I don't know. Now, if you're wondering like me what happened with that cliffhanger at the end with the 2 ghouls that were staying on top of the tall CCG building, like they said, like, oh, the paranormal investigators left the city open to us. You know, now we can do what we're gonna do. I was curious about, like, did they talk about the city? Like, you said 6 months later, like, what happened? Like, you know, we just kind of skipped over that. Well, it turns out, somewhere in the city is, like, this, like, prison for, like, the worst of the worst ghouls. Like, S-rank ghouls, double S-rank ghouls, triple S-rank ghouls. And it's like when Blackbeard infiltrated Impel Down the same time Luffy went to save his brother Ace, and Blackbeard broke out all those ghouls. Not ghouls, he broke out them powerful pirates. That's pretty much what happened. Like, the Agori tree used that cover of the war with the CCG to basically sneak into that detention center and break out a bunch of level high-ranking ghouls. So that's kind of cool. I was like, okay, we got some high-ranking ghouls out there, pretty dangerous. Okay. Juzo also got promoted to 2nd rank, which seems like information that would be more relevant when talking about Amon, not like after you're talking about a bunch of ghouls. S-rank, triple S-rank ghouls got escaped from Impel Down. I mean, not Impel Down, from the detention center. I'm like, that seems like, I don't know. I would have worded like, Amon became senior investigator, and then Juzo got promoted to like rank 2. Oh, and then also, I mean, not also, and then also, but like, then get into more serious stuff. Because I'm like, that seems like more serious. I mean, that's how I would have wrote it. If I would have wrote it in that way. I would have swapped that information around. Anyways, we then meet 2 more investigators. Again, this is what I mean. Like, we're just getting introduced to a lot of characters, left and right. And I'm like, who's important? But anyways, one of them is being Aryama, who fought the One-Eyed Owl or One-Eyed King. They call them both in this manga, but in the anime, it was the One-Eyed King. And then in the manga, it's the One-Eyed Owl. But they refer to it as both. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if it's like a writing error or typing error. But anyways, Aryama's the one that fought the One-Eyed Owl and lived. He cut off his arms. There's a lot of talking back and forth, but again, nothing noteworthy, as I said, happens until Amon goes and visits a grave. It's the grave of his crazy-ass CCG partner and my favorite character, Mato. Mato, crazy-ass. Barely knew Mato, but I loved his ass. He was like the Kenpachi Zaraki of this manga. He was crazy as fuck. He's basically there to say that he misses them in his own way. He, has a conversation updating him about what's going on because, I mean, that was his partner. And when we learn something later about Amon's backstory, it makes sense. Like, this is all he knows, like, relationship-wise, like, just to report information to his superior. Again, it'll make sense when we get there. But that's when we meet Mato's daughter. Mato has a daughter. Which would explain the ring that we found that Takuya was focused on whenever he had died. Again, I only noticed it in the anime. I didn't notice it in the manga. Well, when I noticed it in the manga, I didn't notice it in the anime. One of the two. I had noticed it, like, Mato, that's what she was staring at. I thought she was staring at the cuts on Mato's hand, but she was staring at the ring specifically, that he had a family. But not only is she a senior investigator, but she's Amon's replacement partner over Juzo. So for some reason, even though Juzo and Amon were just partners, less than 20 chapters ago, he's got a new partner. But again, this manga's short. It's only 140 chapters. I got 50 chapters left, so he's got a new partner. And her name is Akira. A lot of A's going on. Amon, Akira, Aryama, I don't know. Akira and Amon have some back and forth banter for a while as they try to learn each other's personality. And then we learn from that banter that Kaneki, Shu, and Banjo have been on a killing spree, killing gourmet ghouls. So, Kaneki's like, hey, the world's fucked up, but you ghouls, y'all eating people for fun, not eating for the necessity. I ain't fucking with that. That's not really what Kaneki's motivations was, but that's what I had thought when I was reading that part. Following this, we learn that we are shown that the CCG lab where Kinekis and Kineki bullets are made, or we get to see this facility where those bullets and stuff are made. I thought it was kind of cool, like the CCG headquarters basically. We then meet another new character, and again, so many characters. I have it in here that there's so many characters. Cannon fodder. Characters, because in a short span of time, there's been a lot of characters being introduced. Dr. Stone handled a lot of characters perfectly because we knew who was important, we knew who wasn't. But this is just everybody is introduced and got a name. But this character has to be important because he is the creator of Kinekis, and he's a top researcher. His name is Kaitsu. He's the one that creates Kinekis. He turns Kaganes into Kinekis. We're then going to look at Juzo's new weapon, which looks like some kind of scythe. It was giving me Soul Eater. I was just loving it. I was like, that's cool. That's pretty dope. I'm watching Soul Eater currently with my brother and my nephew. We're getting there slowly. I finished Soul Eater a long time ago, but I didn't pay attention to it, so I'm kind of enjoying it again. But yeah, he got a scythe. And also, it seems pretty powerful as he easily slices through steel, which he then nicknames it the 13th weapon, Jason, or Jason's 13th. Again, Friday the 13th. I think the author, as I said when Jason Sashimi was introduced, I think he's a fan of Friday the 13th because Jason, Friday the 13th and all that. Now we have 13th Jason weapon, whatever. Meanwhile, we learn about an informant in the Agora tree who helped the CCG figure out where they were we have an informant, we find out, that's among the CCG that gave them the tip that, hey, the Agora tree are here, and that's how they knew to attack there 6 months ago. At the same time that Kaneki was captured, and we had people at Altaiku go to try to save Kaneki. Now I had a feeling this would be Ayato, because I was like, Ayato, he did seem based off what Kaneki said when they fought, like, you were trying to protect Takuya from Jason. You know, you don't seem like you hate humans as much as you say you do, or you don't want to kill your sister. Like, I thought maybe Ayato was like trying to stop the Gorgery or something like that. It's not who I thought it was. It's not even close to who I thought it was. But I also have some confusion about that, and we're going to get there when we get there. But that's when we swap again to Mato and his daughter going to the Ghoul Detention Center, where we get a huge surprise. This is probably one of the biggest surprises of all of Tokyo Ghoul so far. And I was going to make a whole video about this, but again, where we stopped at, I felt like it was more important. Because I was like, I haven't talked about Tokyo Ghoul in a long time, and this just seemed way too short to talk about it. Because based on what I said so far, as big as this revelation is, this would be like a very short video. And so I was like, let's go a little bit further. Amon's father is a ghoul, or rather his adopted father. I'm kind of confused about what he is. I know he's like a father figure, at least if he's not Amon's real father, but he is a ghoul. And the reason I'm confused, we'll get up to that in a second. But I assumed that he was a ghoul based off the backstory flashback we got a couple chapters ago of like Amon walking in on a door and some guy, old man, that I assumed would be his father, had blood dripping on his face and a body in his hands. He's like, I told you not to come in here. I told you to knock first, stuff like that. So I was curious if he'd be a one-eyed ghoul, because I was like, if his father was a human, because obviously Amon's a human, his father would have had to been turned into a ghoul. So that would mean he'd be a one-eyed ghoul as well. But because Amon is human, I was like, okay, that has to confirm that he's adopted, because Amon would either, if Amon's father was a ghoul, it would make sense that Amon's a human, because we know that like, if a human and a ghoul have sex, according to Iato, the baby dies. They're not supposed to survive. And if they do survive, which is a rare chance, they become a one-eyed ghoul. And Amon's not a ghoul at all. So I was like, okay, either his father's a one-eyed ghoul or he's adopted, which I'm going to go with adopted because something we learn later. And based off how they're talking, it doesn't seem like it's his real father. So that's what I also have in my notes. And his father, we're just going to call him his father, but his father doesn't seem like him either, because he teases Mato. He teases Amon about Mato's stuff. He's like, hey, where's your partner? And Amon lies and says, oh, he's fine. And then his father just busts out laughing. I'm like, oh, you're a terrible liar. I can see right through you. Right in front of Mato's daughter's face, too. Like, Mato's daughter, if she was crazy like Mato, she probably would have went in there and kicked his ass. But he is, because he's in the detention center, we know he's like a high ranking dude. He's like a level S. I think he's like a triple S by the time this is confirmed. He then agrees to give Amon some information, but alone, to which Amato's daughter doesn't protest, which he calls her smart. He's like, are you tapping that? Like, Amon's father figure, whatever, is like obviously an asshole / ghoul, so he don't give a fuck. But I thought it was crazy how he's talking to him. I'm like, damn, you wilding right now. We did learn from her internal dialogue, though, that Amon's father figure favors eating children specifically. So again, like, Tokyo Ghoul is trying to make you feel bad for these guys, but they are monsters at the end of the day. And it's not like, in a way, like, it's like the P word, but it's just like, yeah, they're monsters. Monsters love to frighten children, love to eat children. Like, they'll eat humans, they'll kill adults too, but like, specifically children are one afraid of monsters, and Amon's father loved eating children. That's fucking disgusting. That's probably why Amon hates ghouls that specifically target children, because of his father. He is a ghoul. His father's name is known as the preschool because he once ran a Catholic church. So we know like Shu is called the gourmet ghoul, even though there's other gourmet ghouls, and Rize is called the binge eater ghoul because I guess she like just kills a lot of humans. And then Yamiori was like Jason, the Friday the 13th killer. You know, all these ghouls get specific names, but his specific is the priest. So maybe he like ran a church, got access to like children and churchgoers. They used to kill them. Same thing happened in Demon Slayer. The second ranked demon, spoilers for the Demon Slayer fan base if you and I haven't watched my Demon Slayer videos, but like the number 2 demon was like a priest, and he used to trick people and he'd eat them that came to him and ask for prayers and help and answers to their problems and things like that. But as we begin talking, however, his father is either lying or he doesn't know anything. Like, Amon's asking him questions, and his father's just like, I don't know. And he's like, what about this? He's like, I don't know. He's like, what about this? I don't know. And then before he even answers another question, his father's like, I don't know. And Amon's like, cut the bullshit. Let's stop. Either talk to me seriously or don't. And then Amon's father's like, well, then ask some real questions. Stop talking like a robot. And I was like, so his father's being an asshole. His father does know shit. Anyways, we then learn, this is more about Amon being adopted. Amon was an orphan at the church, and then I guess the preschool was like the father to all these children or whatever. And he asks like if he still has love for his foster parent, since he still carries around the cross around his neck. And Amon's like, no, I keep this to repent for not stopping his father sooner, like the preschool, Amon's adopted father. So this does confirm that they are not a blood related family, but that doesn't matter. Yeah, he's Amon's adopted father, but Amon's like, I keep this cross not because I miss you or think about you or the church. I keep it because I wish I had stopped you earlier. This is my repentance. Is like, I got you in this detention center, but I could have saved a lot more children, a lot more families, a lot more fathers, a lot more wives if I had stopped your ass sooner. So I thought it was pretty good world building for them too. His father then tells him some vague message about Chase the Rabbit instead of Alice. I didn't know what the fuck that was referring to. I thought at one point he was talking about Takuya because Takuya is referred to as the Rabbit Ghoul, or at least having the rabbit mask. But then based on where the chapter ends, there's something else going on. But then even then, who the fuck is Alice in the first place? There's no Alice. I get the Alice in Wonderland reference you're trying to make, but it doesn't make sense to say Alice. I don't know what I would have put, but it doesn't make sense to me. Anyways, as we continue to learn about the anonymous tipper, that's the anonymous informant in CCG, it's another new character named Nagachika, which isn't turned out to be a new character. This is apparently Hyde. I guess Hyde's full name is Nagachika because where this ends as well, he refers to Kaneki as his best friend, and we see a picture of Kaneki when they're talking about his best friend. And I was like, I thought your name was Hyde, not Nagachika. So I don't know if this is like translation errors or something like that, but I was getting very confused. But now that I knew this was Hyde, I was like, okay, it makes a little bit more sense. But how did Hyde also know about the Agora tree? Anyways, I put in my notes, I really hope after 141 chapters, all of these random characters to keep getting introduced to mean something and do something in the story. Like, this is a lot of characters, again, for a very short story. And I'm like, they all seem like cannon fodder at the end of the day. We then skip to interrogating Nagachika / Hyde, and we learn that he likes to play private investigator for fun. He sticks transmitters on people that he finds suspicious and shares information with police. Which does make sense, because when Kaneki and Hyde were first talking about ghouls, Kaneki was a disbeliever of ghouls, where Hyde was like, oh, I believe in ghouls. They're on the news and stuff like that. And again, based on what we've seen of the Tokyo Ghoul world so far, this is Mystic Falls on steroids. Everybody knows that ghouls exist. I don't know why they pretended like ghouls didn't exist. I don't know why Kaneki acted like he didn't believe in ghouls, when ghouls are like all in your face 24/7. Anyways, this time, however, he stuck it on a special ghoul named Yamiori, or Jason, the one that was torturing Kaneki / hunting down Rize. He stuck it on him just by random chance. The only reason he wasn't caught is because he put on some clothes of a dead ghoul. But I even find this story random because I was like, how did you know that person was a ghoul? You knew, so you know about ghouls, I guess, and you put ghouls clothing on to hide your scent, which makes sense. If you're hunting zombies and you put zombie blood on you, maybe zombies will ignore you as long as you don't stand out too much. But I'm like, still, I don't know, it's kind of weird still. I wasn't believing it. And we ain't seen Hyde I know we ain't seen Hyde in 6 months, but I was just like, I don't know, we need more build up. You saw Kobe join the Marines, when Luffy after Luffy beat Alvida and he beat Captain Morgan, Kobe joined the Marines, and we saw Kobe get recruited along with Helmeppo. We saw them in the background on cover photos and stuff like that, and then Kobe came back. And it makes sense that Hyde just joined the Paranormal Investigators randomly. I don't know. That's why I was confused about Nagachika. Oh, my tongue was getting dry. But now that he's tagging along with Mato and Amon as their third member of their team, I guess he's going to be important. Amato's daughter, Akira. He's now the third member of Akira, Amon, and Nagachika / Hyde. Back in Antika, we meet another new character, a ghoul named Roma, and I'm just going to stop saying new characters at this point. I'm not going to make notes about new characters. Unless that character does something significant, we're just going to ignore it. But anyways, it's confirmed here that Kaneki is the one who wiped out the gourmet ghouls who were eating humans for fun, and he's supposed to took out 100 of them by himself. Which, it's supposed to be possible because one-eyed ghouls are supposed to be stronger than regular ghouls. The 8 Devil Ghoul then makes a joke that he was Kaneki's mentor / trainer, but he actually just trained him about how to brew coffee, which I thought was kind of hilarious. That was kind of like a cute little gag throw in there, because the 8 Devil has been making jokes about, oh, should I join you guys? Again, I wonder if the 8 Devil is going to actually do something in the show, in the manga / anime. I wonder if that gag's going to play off, because this is like the 3rd gag with him saying that. We're then going to look at Kaneki, Banjo, and Shu. And Kaneki's design, I got to say, looks kind of lame in this panel. Like, there are moments where Kaneki's going to look badass, but in this panel, when Kaneki comes back, I was like, you look kind of lame. Like, I wish you had been drawn more cool, because you just look kind of dorky right here. You're supposed to be a powerful one-eyed ghoul, and you look like a little wimp. But as the chapter comes to an end, we see what happens to the gourmet ghouls. Once again, Shu presented Kaneki as his guest, but in reality, it was a trap to kill all of them. Shu was like, hey, gourmet ghouls, I've got a present for you. And they're like, hey, isn't that one-eyed kid that got away the first time? And you killed him? Or you killed you killed one of our pets so you could eat him for yourself or something like that? But this, I do like how menacing Kaneki looks. This is how you should have introduced Kaneki when you brought him back in the chapter. He looks menacing here instead of that dorky looking face he's got whenever he first shows up at Shu and Banjo. Anyways, we then learn that Kaneki has teamed up with a new group of ghouls. Again, random new characters. I don't want to stop saying new characters, but just a new random group of ghouls. Still hoping to track down more information on Rize's true identity, and we're looking for more information on Dr. Kano, who does experiments on humans / ghouls, because he's the one that made Kaneki a one-eyed ghoul with Rize's organs. And we also found out, like in a previous chapter in the Agorishi arc, that there are other ghouls out there with Rize's organs in their bodies. So Dr. Kano's been at this for a while. But this is where we learn something else even crazier. Kaneki is after a particular ghoul named Madam A, but she's guarded by these twin ghouls that also have Rize's organs in them. And I was like, okay, so there are now 3 confirmed ghouls of Rize's organs. And so I was like, well, we knew that previously that there was other ghouls out there, but I'm like, they call Kaneki like their brother, their sibling or something like that. And they too are one-eyed ghouls, and they refer to Kaneki as their brother, and I thought this was interesting. I was like, okay, this is a crazy choice. Kaneki is facing off with them, and the reason why he can't beat them is because they, like I said, they're one-eyed ghouls too, and they have more practice with it. So they were humans that were transformed as well. Now, these notes are going to sound all over the place because they are, as I said in the beginning of this video, like, I'm just going to share the relevant information with you, because there's a lot of stuff that happens, but then I also feel like nothing happens at the same time. But anyways, Kaneki gets into a fight with the random ghouls in the 6th ward, and he easily overpowers them. The ghoul then makes a comment that he fights like a ghoul who used to live in the 6th ward. And when Kaneki asks if it's Rize, he makes a shocked face, confirming that Rize was here. Which I do think we learned that before. Like, Iato had said something about, like, Rize is from the 6th ward. Like, look in there for information about her. So, we're getting closer to the truth. We're learning a little bit by little bit about who Rize was and things like that. We then go back to Ichiori from earlier chapters where, you know, Kaneki was like, I'll exchange information with you. Like, I'll exchange information with you. You can find out things from me from the gourmet restaurant. And so, you know, Kaneki's back. And originally, she had no relevant information in the first place. Like, she didn't really tell us anything in the first place. So, even if we had found out something from the gourmet restaurant, like, you had no good information to share back with us. But she does tell us something huge about Kano this time. That he used to be a medical examiner for the CCG. That would have been more relevant information the first time, girl. That is a big thing. Dr. Kano, the one that turned Kaneki into a ghoul, the one that is a doctor currently in the human world, he used to be a medical examiner for the CCG. Yeah, girl, that's actual information to share. This explains how he's easily able to transplant ghoul DNA into humans, because he's been working and experimenting on ghouls and probably even did some self-implants on himself. If he used to be a medical examiner for the CCG, he also is a one-eyed ghoul because he put those ghoul organs in his own body because now he is a ghoul. Why he did this, we still don't know, but it's just cool information, more good world building, more things that we can actually put for relevant information. And then we find out that Nico the Clown is with her, you know, Jason's ex-boyfriend, the clown mask ghoul. Or we found out at the end of the Gorshi arc that he's a clown mask ghoul. And he wants to be with Kaneki because Kaneki's powerful and he killed Jason, yada yada, whatever, I don't care. He claims that he's in there to fight Kaneki because he's no longer a member of the Agori tree. He was only there because of Jason. So basically the clown's like, oh, I wasn't really fucking with the Agoratory. I was just fucking with Jason. He tickled my pickle. He ripped out my organs. He satisfied me, but like now he's dead. So I'm out here looking for new fresh meat. I'm just here. Don't worry about me. I ain't here to pick a fight with you. Also, Nico once again refers to the Agoratory following the One-Eyed King. So again, the One-Eyed Owl. Oh yeah, though this is where the manga confirms him as the One-Eyed King. So I guess we're just gonna refer to him as the One-Eyed King instead of One-Eyed Owl because he goes by both names. So I'm not sure what the difference is, or again, if it's just writing error, but this is where Nico confirms that they call him by both names. We also didn't learn from Nico that the reason the Agoratory were hunting down Rize and Dr. Kano is to smoke out the liar in the Agoratory. I'm still kind of lost about what's going on. You need Rize or Dr. Kano to smoke out a liar in your own organization. Just interrogate your own organization. Like, does Rize have a special ability that can sniff people out? Does Dr. Kano have a special ability that can sniff people out? I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing it's relevant because Rize is a central focus about what we're looking for. And where this chapter ends, it's going to be super relevant. So I'm guessing, like, whatever Rize can do to sniff out a traitor for the Agoratory or whatever Dr. Kano can do, it's supposed to be relevant. Anyways, Kaneki ain't buying his bullshit until Nico reveals that the One-Eyed King is someone Kaneki must already know because he whispers the name into Kaneki's ear. Kaneki looks shocked. So if it's somebody we've met, because again, there's only 141 chapters, there's only 50 chapters left, it must be somebody we know. But if it's the One-Eyed Owl or the One-Eyed King is someone we don't know, they need to be introduced very soon. You can't, the One-Eyed King, the One-Eyed Owl seems to be your big bad. So we need to learn more about him before we get to the end of the chapter. But it could be like Dr. Stone. Like, we just finished Dr. Stone recently, and we found out the White Man was with us all along. The White Man is the fucking Medusa weapon. So we knew who the White Man was the entire time, but the twist didn't come to the very end. So I guess the One-Eyed King is somebody Kaneki must know. Anyways, as the chapter comes to a close, we get a look at the rabbit going around killing CCG investigators. It seems to be similar to the ghouls that, like, have a single wing like Takuya. And maybe like a similar Kagane, like it seems like it's fast and it has a single wing. So at first I thought I might have been Takuya, but I knew it probably wasn't going to be. But their mask is completely different, but these panels look incredible. I'm going to show them off for a few seconds. Instead of a white mask, it has a black mask on its face. Again, it could have been another cool stopping point. It would have been our second stopping point, but again, where we finally end, I feel like it's a lot better. So back with Kaneki, he's training with Banjo and pretty much beating his ass, showing that, like, if he's going to get stronger, if you're going to be my shield, you got to get stronger, Banjo. You're good at protecting yourself, but you got to get stronger that, like, these attacks don't do anything to you. We also see that Hinanami has left Takuya's place to be with Kaneki because she wants him to feel not alone, I guess. Because Takuya was there for Hinanami when Hinanami's mother died. And she's like, well, Kaneki's out there all by himself, which he's not. He's got Shu and Banjo with him, so I don't know what she's talking about. But she wanted to be with Kaneki, so whatever. That's why Hinami's here. We didn't get to see that Kaneki got ripped as fuck off screen like Asta, unlike Asta, who was constantly training in Black Clover. It made sense why Asta looked ripped. But now, all of a sudden, like, Kaneki got ripped too in 6 months, which does make sense. People can get ripped in 3 months. But I was like, okay, you're trying to make Kaneki look sexy? I guess I get whatever. Anyways, I guess it does also make sense because enemies he's going to have to face in the future and things like that, they're going to be more powerful, so Kaneki does have to train and level up. Kaneki and the group head back to the 20th ward to search the hospital where Dr. Kano worked, and Kaneki was, like, hospitalized, and he had the Rize's organist put into his body. So he goes to find Dr. Kano to confront him and ask him questions, but instead he finds the nurse who tells him that Kaneki, that, like, the doctor went overseas in Germany. Obviously a lie. He probably told, I was thinking, like, he obviously lied to you, like, he's a ghoul. He just probably had to hide because the Gorchi got attacked and the CCG tried to sweep the area. So Kano's like, oh, I gotta get out of here. But we learned something again at the end. Meanwhile, Hinanami goes to visit Takuya, who continued her studies in school, but she's obviously sad that Kaneki did join, leave, and instead of coming to see her himself, now that he's back, Hinanami came to see her instead, and, like, she gives her like a toy or something like Kaneki said, like, you'll like this or whatever, and Takuya runs off basically. hitting the feels like, you idiot. Like, I wish you would have come to see me, not like made Hinami come see me for you. Whatever, it's cute. I guess they're going to ship together at the end. I don't know. Anyways, the major important thing where this chapter ends is it turns out the nurse actually lied to us as well. I don't know if she's a ghoul or not, but she was working with Dr. Kano. She's aware of ghouls. She's aware of his experiments. And we see that he's not only experimenting on 1 human or 3 humans. He's got a whole fucking factory set up. And a lot of them so far seem to be failures, except for these 2 girls, Kaneki and Kaneki. Because one of the humans he's experimenting on, he sees like their body's starting to bloat, and he's like, oh, another failed experiment. They couldn't handle the ghoul's organs or something like that. So again, I think Kano experimented on himself, obviously, because he has to be a ghoul. And then you're going to have these 2 girls that were a success, and Kaneki was a success. Why he's doing this, I don't know. But the major thing, the very mind-blowing thing at the end is Rize is possibly alive. But he's telling her he's got Rize chained up. He's like, hang in there, Rize. Just hang in there. And since he's, again, a medical examiner, he could probably find a way to keep her alive while at the same time experimenting her and using her organs to, like, we don't even know what specific organs he's using or, like, what kind of DNA he's putting in people's bodies. But to have this many experiments, it has to be like, I guess her organs grow back. I don't know. We don't know yet. But Rize is possibly alive. I don't think she's going to be a good guy. I don't think she's going to change her ways. I think she's still going to be the binge eater ghoul based off even how she was messing with Kaneki in his mind. But I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought that was a really good cliffhanger. I was like, okay, so Rize is the central point of all of Tokyo Ghoul. She, Kaneki, Dr. Kano, the one-eyed owl, the one-eyed king, whatever you want to call him. It's all leading to something crazy. Anyways, that's all for this video. I'm sorry if I got a little tongue-tied. I'm sorry if that sounds a little bit confusing and I kind of jumped around everywhere. I don't think I'm going to watch the Season 2 Tokyo Ghoul anime until I finish all of Tokyo Ghoul. Then I'll watch it because I don't want any more spoilers, especially when when the anime went off the rails and did something completely different in the first place. But that's all for this video. It's already pretty long, so I'm not going to drag this out too much longer. I'll see you guys in the next video. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, this video was sponsored by me, the author of the Shinry series, the Chronicles of Wayne, and Monsterverse. So I figured I'd do this outro a little bit different by showing you guys what you guys will be checking out. So, the Shinry series starts with Book 1, Shobu Samurai Project Aryoku. 10 years after the death of his parents, Shobu Samurai returns home seeking vengeance, but instead faces the choice to save his home from shadow creatures, blood beasts, and an organization once thought dead. Shinry's Shobu Samurai starts at $9.99. And if you love anime, manga, Naruto, One Piece, Bleach, Yu Yu Hakusho, Fairy Tail, Shaman King, Rave Master, Zatch Bell, anything like that, the Shinry series is definitely the series for you. You'll definitely want to check it out. The Sword of Light is probably the thickest one so far. And then these books are 2. This is Enter the Dread Zone Tournament. And the series original ending, Arado, the Legendary Conjuring Master. So, and I'll just show you guys some of the covers. Really proud of all of these. But I hope you guys check it out. If you don't like that, I also have the current published books for the Chronicles of Wayne, Love Be Damned, Cotton Candy, Full Moons, Fabled Lovers, A Cursed Virgin's Bite. If You Go Where Monsters Dance, Red will Rain Over Your House. Love Be Damned. Now, the Chronicles of Wayne is about a geeky guy, or a nerdy guy in high school. His senior year, he has a crush on the hottest guy in school, because of course he does. He's only got one best friend, and her name is Barb. Well, the hottest guy in school turns out to be a werewolf. And to make the story more interesting, he bites Wayne and turns Wayne into the first ever wolfman in the last 10 years. And because of that, it was also a sacred law that wolfmen should never be created. I don't want to get into too much of the Chronicles of Wayne without spoiling it, but I can tell you it's very short. This one sells for $6.99, and Love Be Caged right after it. The ending of this trilogy, Love Be Liberated, comes out in October. So I'm going to definitely do a more full in-depth review of this one. But yeah, it's an LGBT fantasy fiction story about werewolves, vampires, white witches, a dark warlock, and, well, many, many more surprises to come. So, if you guys like to read, I definitely recommend. These are all the books so far in the Shinry series, except for Shinry's Beginning. I do have that one, but it's just not here with me. But yeah, I appreciate a like, support, or just a review on Amazon. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys have a great day.